This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
When local growers put great food on Tennessee tables, that's living green. On the next Live Green Tennessee, we stop by Jindydale Farms in Cookeville, Tennessee. Next, we try Gunshot Sauce in Knoxville. And finally, we visit Cooper's Recycling in Livingston. All this and more on the next Live Green Tennessee.
Pick Tennessee helps you find local farms and farmers markets, plus offers tips for choosing, using, and storing the fresh foods you buy. The Pick Tennessee mobile app is available now on iTunes and Google Play.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcasted in Tennessee.
Hello, I'm Melinda Kiefer, and I'm proud to bring you stories from across our great state on Live Green, Tennessee. Committed to healthy living, which includes eating meat that is free from chemicals, Jack and Cindy Holman raise their beef cattle and egg and meat chickens on 40 acres of all-natural grasses and pigs on 5 acres of woods.
I have a small farm located in Putnam County. It's called Jindydale Farms. We raise grass-fed beef, we raise free-range eggs, we have pastured poultry, and we have hogs that's grown in the woods. We're a pasture-based farm, and we are committed to being a pasture-based farm. We use no chemical fertilizers and no GMO feed.
We started the farm selling to the public 4 years ago. My husband inherited his part of the farm from his father several years ago, so he's actually farmed his whole life, but we had always sold the cattle at the stock barn. So with the advent of the farm-to-table movement, we thought we'd start selling straight to the public.
Jindydale Farms names come from a combination of my name and my wife's name.
Jack and Cindy makes the Jindy part.
My middle name is Darrell, her middle name is Gail.
So that makes the Dale part, Jindydale. Jack has been, his father farmed before he did, and his grandfather farmed before he did, so farming is just running the family for several generations. The inspiration came, though, once my husband started experiencing some health problems of his own. We became more aware of what was in the food we were eating. So that made us want to make sure our food was healthier for our own benefit. And so then, of course, we did it for our customers also.
I've done grass-fed, everything, raw milk since I was young. My grandparents were farmers and they believed that, natural is best. The flavor, you cannot beat grass-fed naturally raised meats. You can't. It's when you eat grass-fed and then you go somewhere and they serve grain-fed, you can tell the difference.
I just think it tastes much better because it has more flavor in it. And I like the chicken better because, well, we can actually find good chicken. And I just think it's much more flavorful than it is at the grocery store.
And then the eco-conscious, it takes less time and lower temperatures to cook natural beef, pork, and chicken than the regular stuff you get from the grocery store. The fats are more high quality, which fats are necessary even though people don't want to believe it. So it's just higher quality all the way around.
I think the most important thing is that it's local, that we do know where our beef is being raised and that it's not traveling hundreds of miles and you know, through a feedlot. I think that even if you have even a bit of grain-fed, as long as you know where your animal's coming from, that's probably the most important thing to us.
The term organic has changed over the years to the point where you can't really trust when food is labeled organic, whether it is what you want. But if you know the farmer that you're getting your food from, you can talk to the farmer, you can ask him what he's feeding his animals, how he's raising his animals, how he is fertilizing his fields, so that you can actually get a real idea of how your food is being produced and how it's being raised and where it's coming from and what's in it, more than just a label.
As much as we support the organic movement, we are part of the local food movement. You need to know your local farmer and you need to be able to trust him to grow your food healthy, to grow your food the way that nature intended for it to be grown. And we feel like that is more important than even being certified organic. Because if you know your farmer, you believe in your farmer, and you visit your farm, then you know how your food is grown.
In the 4 years we have been selling to the public, I think the main thing we've seen is it's growing. More and more people are wanting to know where their food is coming from. More and more people are concerned about the GMO food and its dangers. They're concerned about feedlot beef and some of the problems you can get health-wise from eating beef that comes from a feedlot. I think the internet and even just television is informing people more and more about the food that they're eating, and people are wanting to make wiser choices. That's a definite change we've seen in the 4 years. We have customers who come to us because they have health problems and their doctors are sending them to us to get grass-fed beef and pastured poultry because they know that they can eat that and they're not going to get sick. And that makes you feel really good inside that you're doing something that's helping other people.
And that's what we're committed to here at Jindydale Farms. And our customers is always welcome to visit our farm and see how their animals are being raised.
Sometimes the best sauces are passed down from generation to generation. The story behind Gunshot Sauce really lives up to its name. A quirky relative, a shotgun, and a story that got passed down are the inspiration behind Gunshot Sauce. Sometimes the best recipes start with the relatives, or in this case, a shotgun. That's part of the story behind Will McCarthy's Gunshot Sauce, which he has perfected in his Tennessee kitchen.
His recipe was passed down to me from my grandmother and from, I guess her grandparents. It was passed down to me and it was all word of mouth. It was never written down. He's my great-great-grandfather, Grandpa Wilford. He had two passions. He loved to duck hunt, and as such, he loaded his own shotgun shells, and he also loved barbecuing. And with that, he also kind of created his own barbecue sauce recipe. And he combined his two passions by figuring out a way to put his sauce into his self-loaded shotgun shells and shoot his pork shoulders while they're on the smoker and kind of inject some sauce or spray some on the outside or what have you, and the neighbors would hear the gunshots ringing out from his farm, and they were like, oh my gosh, he's barbecuing, it's great, let's go to pay him a visit. I think a lot of people probably thought he was a bit off his rocker a little bit, shooting things on his smoker, but for whatever reason, that was his again, rather eccentric technique, and it worked well because people loved his barbecue. My name is Will McCarthy. I am the chief cook and bottle washer for Shade Tree Sauce Company, the makers of Gunshot Sauce. It officially launched in 2010. Knoxville, Tennessee is our global headquarters, if you will. I originally wanted to call it shotgun sauce because my grandfather used a shotgun and had shotgun shells. I couldn't get that trademark, so that sent me back to the drawing board a little bit, and so I thought, oh, how about gunshot? Because they did hear the gunshots, and that's what gathered my neighbors around my grandpa's barbecue pit. Yeah, the gunshot sauce is wide open, sure. No one's taken that yet, so go for it. So that was where the name Gunshot came from. I'd always wondered why none of my relatives had ever tried this venture or tried to bottle it. And in the process of going it through myself, I've I think learned after the fact that it's a lot of times a lot harder than you might think. And it's been a learning process for me. I don't really have a background in marketing or entrepreneurship or bringing a product to market. I studied engineering in college, and I went to the Navy, and I flew P-3 aircraft as a pilot. So I know nothing to do with this at all, but it's been a definite learning process. I'm in the Navy Reserves, and I was mobilized in 2008, went over to Afghanistan and Iraq for a year. And on the way back, I was in the process of wanted a kind of a change of pace. I had some money saved up, and I always wanted to see if I could market this family recipe. And so I had some money saved up. I thought, well, this is a great opportunity. But that was sort of the impetus behind giving that, pushing me off the edge was to having the extra capital that I thought I would need to see if I could give it a go. Actually, my wife helped me out a lot. We were kind of experimenting a lot in the kitchen in terms of what different ways to, hey, what if we did this, or what if we increased that or decreased this? So we tweaked around a lot with that. There was one thing that I added to the recipe, a little bit of lime juice. It called for lemon juice, my original recipe, but I added some lime juice and some celery salt as well. Different things that I thought would give it a little bit different nuance of kind of flavor. And I think that worked really well. And my wife, I think she's got a little more refined palate than I do. We did so many experiments and so many, okay, we're going to try this little bit with this small modification, and do what I could to get it in recipe format and make sure I did the same thing every time. But they just, I don't know, I think it's a kind of a knack for people who have been in the kitchen for 50, 60 years. They just know how to do things and recipes are not needed. There's also some tweaking involved when you start scaling up a recipe. Some things aren't necessarily linear. So, and my bottler was a great help to that as well, because he's got 250-gallon kettles that he makes it in, and I basically limited to about 3 or 4 gallons on my stovetop. But my great-grandfather, though, he did small batches. I think it was only like about maybe a couple of quarts at a time. The unique thing that I find with Gunshot Sauce is the fact that it's apple cider vinegar based. So it's a savory sauce. It's not sweet and thick like most quote-unquote barbecue sauces out there. But I call it a gourmet sauce marinated more to hopefully get past the people that would look at the product and say, if it said barbecue sauce, and they would like, wow, that's too thin to be a barbecue sauce. But I found, though, that being a more savory type sauce, it has so much more versatility than your sweeter, regular, traditional barbecue sauces. Growing up, I always saw it on the table or whatever in a nondescript olive oil bottle or whatever to pour it on barbecue sandwiches. One thing I recognized, or I realized through this venture that I've been on, is trying to find out, okay, I already know it's a great barbecue sauce, but I'm trying to figure out what other things it might be good at as well to kind of maybe broaden the market or broaden the appeal. By and large, I was raised just using it as a barbecue sauce for pulled pork and maybe some chicken. I've got some chicken salad I just bought from the store to kind of illustrate how well it marries with any mayonnaise-based product, a mayonnaise-based chicken salad. I've added some Gunshot Sauce to it. Also some pork, pulled pork, kind of what I grew up with it as. We've also mixed it in with plain hummus, believe it or not. Plain hummus, in my opinion, is kind of bland, so we've added a little Gunshot Sauce to show how it can be used as a flavoring sauce. We've also done some meatballs, just nothing fancy, just some frozen meatballs from the grocery store, but we put Gunshot Sauce and warm it up in a slow cooker. And we've also just mixed it in, I mentioned the mayonnaise. My wife and I put in a little squeeze bottle, just mayonnaise, and mix it in with some Gunshot Sauce and use that as again, kind of a flavored mayo or a aioli. You can use it as a shrimp sauce. got some sweet potato fries here. We can, my wife and I love dipping those in it, but we put it on sandwiches, just kind of anything. One of the more kind of unique things that I've found, I was kind of surprised how good it was, but was pineapple, believe it or not. You know, brush it on some pineapple and put it on the grill, and then maybe even baste it a few times on the grill. And the sweetness of the pineapple and the kind of the tanginess of the vinegar and a little bit of the spices was really, I was very impressed. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I've got several friends who use it exclusively as a Bloody Mary seasoning. So that's another avenue I want to kind of investigate. I would like to come out with a couple more flavors. I want to come out with a sweeter variety. There's thoughts of a flavored mayonnaise or an aioli sauce made. I'm pleasantly surprised at our growth and how we've done over the last 5 years or so. There are a lot more foodies, if you will, out there now with the Food Network and all the cable food channels out there and stuff, and the internet. So it's which has been a wealth of knowledge and ideas and ways to, wow, try this, try that. No, that's good or that's bad. But I think that whole movement has really given everyone sort of a license to experiment and license to try things outside of the box or of just try something totally different and see if it works. I never met the man, unfortunately. I wish I had. Apparently he was quite the eccentric character. But it's based on his recipe, and we've brought that to the modern era, if you will. Try and let people know how things used to taste back in the good old days. The flavor was what people came back for, and actually that recipe is what kind of obviously outlasted him and got passed down ultimately to me.
Cooper Recycling has built its name on honesty, striving to do the best work and having the best prices available to their customers. They deal in buying ferrous and non-ferrous scrap metal, baling, and providing industrial containers. With multiple locations in Middle Tennessee, they serve the largest to the smallest of customers.
Started helping my father-in-law. Scrap wasn't worth very little, so that was a big challenge because it wasn't really worth hauling off. And as time went on, commodity prices and metal prices went up, and so everybody got to be more aware about recycling, so it's always a good thing. Then we had the boom in 08, 07 and 08, and scrap prices went to an all-time high. My father-in-law, he was a little scrap dealer started in the early 70s. And then when I got out of the Marine Corps, I married his daughter. And then he needed some help. He got a little larger, so I started helping him. And then after that, I went on for months, and then I bought him out, and then we just kept growing the business. And then we bought a bigger building up on Airport Road where our location is there. Back in '95, and we just kept growing and growing, and more employees and trucks, and just kept reinvesting in our money and just kept getting a little bigger and got bigger ideas. 2009, we put the shredder in up here. So we buy scrap from all 165-mile radius comes in here. We shred it, bring it and take it back to the steel mills where they melt it down into the finished product. Shredder, we just take automobiles, appliances, and light sheet metal, unload it and put it up the belt and grinds it into small pieces by the size of your cell phone. Somebody brings a car in, we bring it back there and unload it. Yeah, it comes in, it's got to be drained, have the battery out of it, put it on the belt and they shred it, and then it comes out and it gets separated out. Steel goes one way, and then your It's called the fluff. It goes over and gets separated out, gets all the copper and aluminum and brass and stuff out of it. Then it goes to be melted down into ingots and made into car parts. The local surrounding areas, we really cleaned up the countryside. A lot of stuff was over the hillsides and stuff, and people started digging it out and bringing it to us and recycling it and put the cash in their pocket. On the economical impact, I mean, we got, about we're in the top 10 largest employees in Overton County. And then we buy scrap and all types of different metals, and then, all that money goes right back into the county. So, there are millions of dollars, we buy scrap and it goes back into the economy here, local economy every year. The challenge is get everybody to understand that they've passed use scrap regulation laws. We got to get everybody's photo ID and thumbprint. And some people have trouble with that. We're expanding now. We're adding on to our non-ferrous downstream to get more precious metals out of the fluff. And then we're expanding our yard in Sparta, Tennessee, where we can start taking junk cars and all types of scrap metal down there. This is probably big as we'll get, because we pick up, from people. We got customers with a 165-mile radius. We'd be stepping on their toes if we went, try to open up in Nashville or something like that. Yeah, if people, get the metals out of these illegal dump sites and bring them in, bring them into us, and, you get paid for your scrap metal. And any old tires and stuff, you can go to your local recycling center, and they'll take your tires and send them off to be recycled. If people could recycle more, would be a good thing, because it takes less energy, it's better for the environment, and it's cheaper to melt aluminum and stuff, already recycled materials, than versus mining aluminum and copper and iron ore and things like that.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Live Green Tennessee, where we take you all across the state into the farms and businesses of those who are making the move to eating fresh, living sustainably, and helping us all be more organic in our thinking and the way we live our lives as Tennesseans. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Live Green Tennessee.
If you would like more information about Live Green Tennessee, please visit our website at livegreentv.org, where you can find everything from healthy recipes to past episodes and more.
Pick Tennessee helps you find local farms and farmers markets, plus offers tips for choosing, using, and storing the fresh foods you buy. The Pick Tennessee mobile app is available now on iTunes and Google Play.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcasted in Tennessee. This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.